Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Average at Best. As always, my name is Josh.
My name's Rob, and today we're going to teach you how to hook a bowling ball from the easiest way to the hardest, but most effective way. Stay tuned for that. The first and easiest way to hook a bowling ball is known as the top spin, or as a lot of people like to say, the shake the hand or doorknob approach. Basically what you're gonna do is put your fingers in the ball, like so, and at the release, you're basically just turning the doorknob of the bowling ball. What this will cause the ball to do is spin more like a top, which will cause it to hook a little bit, but it is not by any means the most effective way to hook a bowling ball. But if you want an introduction into how to hook a bowling ball, this is the easiest way to get started. When I was in middle school and in my early days in high school, this is actually how I initially learned how to hook a bowling ball. So I'll go ahead and throw a test shot just for you guys to see exactly what I'm talking about. As you can see, that ball did have a little bit of hook, but by no means was it a lot of hook at all. Maybe 5 boards, and it had almost no energy at the pins, which results to a much lower strike percentage. So for the second easiest way to hook a bowling ball, this is more of the common stroker or tweener approach in bowling. And instead of spinning the ball like a top, you're more behind the ball, but essentially just coming straight out of the ball, almost right up the back. This is definitely a more advanced approach than the spinner approach, but you're still not going to be generating a lot of down lane motion. The energy will transmit through the ball better into the pins, giving you a slightly higher strike percentage than the spin style does. And to explain what exactly I mean by energy through the pins, the spinning ball will actually deflect more to the right off of the pins, whereas this ball will drive a little bit more into the pins with less deflection, causing a higher likelihood of all the pins to go down. So now I'll go ahead and show you guys an example shot so you can understand exactly what I'm talking about. As you can see from that shot, I threw it in the exact same spot as the spin shot, and that almost struck. I mean, I was a messenger away from carrying the 10 pin there, and that shows you that energy that the ball has translated better into the pins, and that's why that shot almost struck, whereas the spinning ball was kind of lucky to even get 9 in the first place.
The next style we are going to be going over is none other than the two-handed style. Now this style is going to be a little bit more beginner friendly, but it has a couple of elements to it to make it a little bit more difficult than the previous methods. Now two-handed bowling is all about using your other hand as in place of your thumb. Now there are some people that can use their thumb along with their two-handed bowling, but the more traditional way to do it is to just have your 2 fingers in, have your palm kind of palm the ball like this, and then have your other hand kind of go over and just act as a guide. Your other hand is just going to act as your thumb for the most part. Typically with the two-handed style, it's going to have more hooks, so you want to start a little bit farther left than you would for the previous methods. So I'm going to demonstrate a shot real quick for you, and we'll see how it goes. Now, as you saw with the two-handed approach, it has a lot more power to it. Because of the fact that you're not using your thumb and you're actually using your other hand, that means that whenever you're at your release, your hand has more room and more ability to actually get around it. So that way, whenever you saw on my last shot there, the ball actually drove through the 8-pin. It didn't even go between the 8 and the 9, it actually drove through the 8-pin. Now, that's a good thing and a bad thing sometimes, but really, it's just about getting the most power possible. The thing with two-handed with me is that I started out as the first method. I started out really trying to kind of spin it a little bit, but also trying to just get under the ball, and I just could not seem to actually get the wrist strength to get my hand underneath the ball. So that's kind of why I chose to go to two-handed bowling. And it's kind of a reason that you could as well. If you were having trouble kind of getting your wrist strength up like that, you could either continue trying to get your wrist strength up, or you could give two-handed a try and see how it goes.
So the fourth and final way that we're gonna go through today, and what is really the hardest way, is the PBA more professional style release. It differs from the first two one-handed releases in a sense that we're keeping our wrist more cupped under the ball, and our wrist is trying to be inside of the bowling ball to the point where the center of the ball is almost on either the right half of our hand or kind of off our hand at release. This, for beginners, is one of the hardest things to learn. It can be uncomfortable. It can almost be painful to kind of get your hand into that position until you get used to doing it in a more comfortable way. But the upside to this is it adds a lot of variety in hand positions you can use at the release. It really allows your wrist to snap around the ball and allows the ball the maximum amount of energy to drive through the pins. And this is what makes the pros so good, is they have mastered this release. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate it for you guys right now. As you can see from that last shot, that ball had a lot more energy through the pins, and it actually struck where the stroker style and the spinner style really struggled to get all the pins down. Even though I bowled one-handed a lot of my life, I really struggled to master this, honestly. And admittedly, part of the reason why I went to two-handed was because when I tried to bowl with this more advantageous release, I got some pains in my thumb, I had pains in my elbow, and I just found, for me personally, I physically couldn't do it without almost hurting myself. So there is a level of talent and a level of strength that you really need to have to be able to throw the ball consistently this way, and I personally was not great at it. But if you do master it, it gives you the opportunity to throw a lot of strikes and really compete at the highest level. So to wrap up today's video, these have been the 4 most common ways to hook a bowling ball, from easiest to hardest. If you guys have any questions or comments about any of the 4 styles you saw shown here today, please leave them down below. And if you have any ideas for future videos we should do, leave that down below as well.
Thank you guys so much again for over 6.5 thousand subscribers. We are on the road to 10,000, and we are trying to get there as quick as we can. We're hoping to get there by the end of this year. If you guys want to support the channel even farther, please go click the Patreon link down below in the description. Thanks for watching today's video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.